It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. Thank you very much for watching, streaming, downloading the podcast. We do appreciate it. If you are usually watching it, if you're not yet subscribed to the podcast, do so right now. Just search Two Guys and a Goalie on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. You'll be able to find Two Guys and a Goalie. It's always brought to you by our friends at Cool Bets. Chris Abbott hit a huge one down in Vegas over the weekend, like 26 grand or something. So he's in a good spot. He won playing cards, just playing cards. He hit like a progressive pot playing cards and won like 25,000 bucks. So he'll be in a good mood when we catch up with him. That's not bad.
Don't you have to pay tax on that, right?
Oh, yeah. He told me like he's only getting like 16.
Yeah.
But it is US, so that'll help. And then he said he can apply to get some of it back once he gets back.
Yeah.
So
now he can buy all the tables at the event.
2 tables.
2 tables.
You have to hold him to that. You're right. At the roast of Gager. Actually, yesterday, I had my father-in-law's funeral yesterday, and one of the people at the funeral came up to me after and said she's on the committee to help kind of organize a little bit and stuff. And I said I didn't even get her name. I feel bad. It was kind of like head in the clouds at that time, but yeah, she's like, we're really looking forward to the roast. I was just like, me too. We're gonna crush this guy. So it would be everybody seems to be excited for it. So it's gonna be fun. That's May 13th, right, Cass? May 13th?
I believe so.
Yeah, Gager. Yeah. I guess it's your roast. I just asked Cass because he's on the committee, but
I know
May 13th.
I'm horrible. You have to remember, I'm horrible with dates, names, like people, new people's names and dates. I am atrocious.
Really?
Oh, horrible.
That's why May 13th. Is it a Friday or is it Saturday? It's a Friday night. May 13th. Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about my wife is she knows that I'm horrible with names. So she's always really good. Like if I'm introducing her to someone, she'll just be like, "Oh, hi, I'm Amanda. What's your name?"
Smart.
Just so I don't drop the ball.
That's really smart.
I'm like Kramer. I need the name tags. The name tags idea.
Well, our neighbors right next door, they've got like a son who's in his early 20s. And I had to go over there about a month ago late to have somebody come look after our kids kind of on short notice. So I rang the doorbell and he came out and he came over. He stayed with the kids for a couple hours, but I can't remember his name. And I know their daughter's name and I know Darren and his wife's name, but I can't remember his son's name. So he came back. I got back at like midnight. I was like, "Hey man, thanks for sitting in for us. Really appreciate you. Like this is awesome." So we've told the kids, like I'm planting my kids on them. I'm just like, next time you see the neighbor boy outside, say, "Hey, what's your name?" Because it looks fine if a kid says it. But it's bad. I've lived here for 5 years, guys, and I can't remember his name. I know I've had it before, but I've forgotten it recently. So that sucks. Anyway, we've got lots to get to. Oilers, obviously, interesting road trip so far. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later on today. We're going to get into some goaltending stuff with Keep It or Clip It. I did start watching Ted Lasso. I know you guys told me for a long time that I got to get on that show, and I don't know why I waited this long, you guys. I absolutely love that show. I've cried like 3 times already. It's phenomenal. I love that show. So we got a little Ted Lasso stuff maybe a little bit later on as well. Hey, this just came down. I think I saw this, and Hernan, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I know you usually have a computer and stuff, but Perlini has been placed on waivers. Do you guys think he gets claimed by anybody? I know he hasn't lit the world on fire, but he does provide a little something in my mind. So do you guys think Perlini clears waivers this time around? Yeah, the Oilers 12 minutes ago said Perlini has been placed on waivers. So what do you think?
I don't
Seems
think
kind of weird, considering
Yeah,
all the forwards are hurt and the blue line's getting healthy. But
Kyle Turris probably coming back soon, and they probably like Turris more than Perlini. I mean, and from a money standpoint, if you bury Turris, like from a cap standpoint, it hits you more than Perlini does. And that's
so you think like financially you might have to do that? Is that what you're thinking?
I think financially you might have to. You Duncan Keith probably coming back here soon too. So it could be a financial move more than anything. But I doubt he gets picked up. Who's gonna take him?
The teams he scored against. Who did he score against?
Seattle in the preseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that he clears, but that came out just before we started, so I just wanted your guys' thoughts on that, if Perlini would get claimed or not. Look, let's just dive right into the road trip. Cass, what do we got to talk about today, buddy?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the road trip, and I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts, because I'm not, there were some texters texting in the other day, the post-game show, that were a little frustrated and disappointed, and I'm not disappointed with the road trip. I thought, overall, from a play standpoint, they played well through it, dealing with some high-profile injuries to a lot of their guys, and they stuck with it with some of the best teams in the league. Would I like them to have gotten at least one more point? Yes. Am I crushed and my spirit broken by this road trip so far? No. And if they come out and they win these next two, and they should if they play the way they have, they come into this whole road trip, 3-2, they're in real good shape. Like, if you, with the teams that you play, come out total in this road trip over 500, you did a good job. And yes, you don't want to accept losses. I get that, but I'm happy with their play thus far. What do you guys think?
I think, yeah, like you said, points wise, man, they could have really done a lot. They should have more than they actually have, I think, but looking at it qualitatively, like I would take the fact that after all they had been through and getting back, and then a real big test of going up against like three of the best teams in the league by far, and equating themselves a lot better than I thought, actually. Like they went head to head against this team, and even the last game against Carolina, being down a bunch of men and still keeping that like within striking distance, and they should have there should have been an extra point there, but man, I would be feeling really good about myself on the way that my team's playing, and just not letting off the gas here, facing some teams that aren't at the same caliber as the Florida teams and the Hurricanes. But yeah, man, those were really highly entertaining games. They were really good hockey games. I would be feeling really good about myself if I was an Edmonton Oiler right now.
Yeah, and I know what Cass is. There's one text saying, like, are we back to applauding good efforts and not points? And I think it's a little bit different, though. They're just playing such a sound game under Woodcroft, and like Gager just said, you're missing 3 top 6 guys yesterday. Jesse, Yamo, and Nuge, and in that second half of that game, the Oilers were the better team. They couldn't capitalize on special teams, and they had a lot of good looks where they just couldn't get the shot on net, or Freddie Anderson was game. And Freddie Anderson owns the Oilers. I mean, look at his record. So I think you have to be pretty happy. I mean, Tampa Bay, you get one save, you probably get points. Yesterday, too. If you could just find a way to get something on special teams, you probably come out of there with points again. So I think it's okay to be happy with how they're playing. And then on the flip side, just say, but they need to start getting some points here. And the next 3 games, guys, if they play the way they did these past 3 games, they should win all 3.
Somebody was texting in today about this, and I want to ask you guys this, because I like the way they played so far. I mean, they get goaltending on Thursday. They got 4 of 6, or at least 3 of 6, So, yeah. And Cass, what do you think of this? This would be my response to your question. I know people go, they're past the point where moral victories count for this team. But are some moral victories different than others? Like, I think going and doing and playing how you played versus the 3 teams you just played, you can take moral victories out of that. If they play well against Philly and lose, well, then no, there's no moral victory in that one. You got to lock that one up against Philly. But I mean, that's a thing, isn't it? Like, moral victories are different considering the situation, or is that just not the case for a team that we try to have higher expectations of?
Well, the difference for this, Dusty, is it was against some of the best teams in the league, arguably the best teams in the league. And that makes a huge difference, massive difference. Like you played really the 3 best teams, I think, in the East, and 2 of them the best teams in the league, in Florida and in Carolina, and Tampa's right up there too. So you're spot on when you said that it's different if you play Philly and you play a good game and you lose and that's not a moral victory. But you are 1 or 2 saves away from being, 3 or 4 points in 3 games against the best teams in the league. And knowing that you can stand in there with them, in some instances with a depleted lineup, that is a moral victory. Now, you don't get the points, and you have to be a realist about it. But at the same time, you can build momentum off that. They weren't momentum killing losses. They weren't losses that are going to send you into a spiral. They weren't losses that are going to just, start where we have a March like we had a December. So, yeah, it is completely different.
And guys, sorry, I forgot to add. First period yesterday, McDavid missed most of it.
Yeah, they were missing. They basically were missing 4 of their top 6 offensive players for that stretch of the game, which is why the power play didn't look that great when they didn't have him in there. I mean, Carolina's penalty kill is insane. It's the best in the league. And somebody texted me this morning that like the Canes don't even look like they're shorthanded when they're shorthanded. Like which is kind of true. I mean, that is kind of the way it looks. So that's the trip so far. Then let me tie this in next because this is what I want to talk about. Now that we just watched Florida, Carolina, and Tampa, let's go around the horn. Which one of those 3 teams do you think is the best? Having just watched them recently, can you separate them? Is there something that separates one from the other, or do you just kind of group all 3 of them together right now?
Yeah, that's tough because I like the Hurricanes with their aggressive forecheck and they caused the Oilers D a lot of issues getting out of their own zone for the first part of that game. I felt like just hoping and trying to get out, but then I like Florida's like Barkov and their offensive prowess. Huberdeau, like that, they're nasty. That's a scary team. But for a goalie, I guess I'd like Florida because I needed run support, and I think they could offer me the best job at that.
All 3 are awesome to watch, but I think I'd go Carolina. There's something about that team, especially up front. I think every team has obviously a lot of strong points and maybe some slight weaknesses. But from what I saw this weekend with the last 3 games, I think Carolina's I'd pick them ahead of the other 2 right now.
I'm going to agree with Hernan and say Carolina, and the reason is this: they play a playoff hockey style, so they play really tight defensively already. That Brindamore, Selke, hard to play against. They're not like a physical hard to play against team, but they don't give you any time or space. And I think what we saw in the first 2 periods in particular, we saw what separated them from Tampa and Florida. So Florida's really, really good too, and their high-powered offense is fun to watch, and they're close. But if I have like Carolina and Florida playing against each other in a playoff series, I just think Carolina is more equipped to lock it down. They're more equipped to lock it down. Now, the wild card with Tampa is, you have the goaltending, and that can win you a game. So that, they're a little bit better in that regard. But if I'm picking between the 3 of them, I'm picking Carolina.
I want to say Florida, but I do think they could lose some playoff games 5-3. 5-4 type of thing. And that's, Bobrovsky could stand on his head for 2 months and they could cruise. But I think there might be some issues there where, they get even a game against Tampa and Vasilevsky sort of shuts things down and Florida Panthers still give up a few goals. So I think because of that, I probably agree with you guys on Carolina. Now, Freddie Anderson in the playoffs, we'll see how, every doubt I have, Tampa doesn't have those doubts. Like I sit here and go, oh boy, I don't know if Florida can shut it down. I know Victor Hedman can shut some guys down. And Freddie Anderson looked really good this year, but I know Vasilevsky's better and has already proven that he can do it in the playoffs. So maybe the answer should be Tampa, but I'm going to slide with you guys on Carolina on this one. Florida couldn't even contain Derek Ryan, which takes us to Hernan Salas today. Hernan, what do you got?
Yeah, let's talk about Derek Allen Ryan, who's on a heater. 35-year-old veteran, scored his first career hat trick. Oldest guy in Oilers history to do it, surpassing Chopper, Ethan Morrow, at 33 years old. But hey, guys, you know what I like about this is that when Tippett got let go and all that, and Derek Ryan met with the media and he said, we need an opportunity to help the star guys here and all that. And he's backing it up, man. He has 8 points in the 9 games. He has 5 goals, 3 assists. I think his goal yesterday was the best of the bunch. And if you look at his 4 goals this weekend, they're all great goals. One beauty pass by Evander Kane. Like, these weren't like ugly goals going off his shin pad. You know what I mean? Like, he's showing some skill, especially the goal yesterday where I thought there should have been a penalty. He got hacked kind of in the hands and he still cut in and went 5 holes. So Derek Allen Ryan providing a spark for the Oilers on that third line. And it's great to see. And I think the wing's working for him instead of playing center. And this is a guy that I know me and Al were kind of hard during that rough stretch. We're like, why is this guy still in the lineup? But I mean, I guess opportunity is all he needed and some confidence from the coach. And he's surprising a lot with his offensive game so far. So kudos to Derek Ryan, who's doing some great stuff for the Edmonton Oilers. And you love to see it, especially an older guy like that, U of A product as well. So awesome for Derek Allen Ryan here as he's rolling for the Edmonton Oilers.
I can't trust a dude with 3 first names, man. That's some serial killer assassination stuff. Like Derek Allen Ryan. Are you kidding me? So the moment you text me that, I was like, wait a second. Derek Ryan, his middle name is also like, no, Derek Allen Ryan. It rattles me now. With that being said, I would have never thought in a million years, not just a hat trick, but to score 4 goals in 2 games in 1 weekend. Good for him. And you're right. I mean, Cass, you can come out after a coaching change is made and sit there and say, guys, we need more opportunity, and then actually get it and not take advantage of it. The fact that he's stepped up here, I think it says a lot about his character and what he wants to prove for this group.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And even more so that it was in a situation where you're down a couple guys.
Yeah.
And a few players are injured, and you need your your bottom 6 players to step up, to fill holes, and to make a difference. And he made a difference. So it's great to see. I'm excited for him. Now he's just got to keep it going. I don't expect him to score to 2 goal a game pace the rest of the way. He's not going to do that. But if he can play with some of that heightened intensity, ability, confidence to try things, to take the puck to the net, then that's great. It just benefits the lineup as a whole, especially as eventually players get healthy and start coming back into the lineup.
Yeah, I guess if he keeps scoring, do we just call him DAR for the next little while? Does he probably
Dar?
Dar's out there. Like if he keeps scoring, we might have to call him that. But no, I like what he said, and you said on your show today, Dusty, about how he's embraced the extra opportunity to play and not having that third, fourth line mentality of not just hopefully not making a mistake and get the puck deep and get off, right? With that 11-7, I think it just provides some of those bottom guys to play with a little bit more skilled players and feel a little bit more comfortable and opportunistic if a chance presents itself to score goals. So, yeah, great for him, man. The one stat that they said on the broadcast is the guy's always been the leading scorer of his team everywhere that he's played except for the NHL. So there's obviously a boatload of skill there. He's one of those guys where, like I think I said, if you saw him in practice, you'd say, how does this guy not score 50 every year? But good for him. I hope he keeps going, because my buddy Herbie, he's getting more recruits this way, definitely, if Ryan keeps scoring like this.
And keep in mind, he hit the post yesterday too.
Yeah.
So that's what they always said about me, and what they say about me and Shinny. Oh, this guy not score 50.
Derek Ryan's last year with the Golden Bears was my first year doing play-by-play for the Golden Bears, and I think it was him and Chad Clausen. That's what it was, and they were unbelievable. I mean, the Bears have had some pretty good players over the years, but Ryan and Clausen together, and they were together there the whole time, I believe. They were fun to watch and fun to broadcast. That was nice. Hey, if Duncan Keith is back here right away, whether it be next game or the following game, I know he's flown out there to join the team. Do you guys do you eliminate the 11-7 when you bring a veteran guy like Keith back in, Cass?
Not necessarily. I think you just take Willie Legs out of the lineup. I mean, you can still roll the 11-7, just take Lagesson out. And
you take Lagesson out ahead of Broberg? I'd probably take Broberg out.
Well, you could take Broberg out too.
Either one. But Niemelainen would
fair.
stay in, right? Is he kind of the front runner for the third pair? Yeah.
He's got to stay in for sure.
Yeah.
100%. I would be angry and disappointed and upset and all the things if they took Niemelainen out.
Yeah,
I'm actually interested to see how that left side looks with Nurse, Keith, and Niemelainen. I mean, that could be kind of what you settle with for the rest of the year, right?
Oh, he's not going down. You can't send him down. I mean, he's gonna make mistakes, and there is some, he's, especially I noticed in the Canes game, he gets pressured a lot, and it was tough on him a little bit, but nothing better that he's getting put out there in crucial situations, and that's huge for a young defenseman to get thrown out. I think, against Florida last 2 minutes, he's getting thrown out there in key situations to shut down. He's slowly, hopefully but surely, turning into that Adam Larson piece where just reliable and mean and nasty to play against
at a very affordable rate, which is important for this team. Gager, what do we got to talk about today, buddy?
Oh gosh, just that pit in everyone's stomach, I think, over the last few days with this whole Russia thing and the Ukraine Ukraine. Man, it sucks because I keep looking at this on TV and on my phone and Wayne Gretzky said that the World Juniors they shouldn't be allowed to play, and FIFA's saying that I think there's talks about the men's sports thing. I'm just all for all sporting. It doesn't matter what sport it is coming from Russia should be banned from international play moving forward until this thing is done. This is absolutely ridiculous. I do feel bad for a lot of the Russian athletes that are possibly already in different countries playing because of the blowback that they might get. I mean, they were talking about Ovechkin's interview, and I mean, what is this guy supposed to say? Like, his family's there. I think his wife and kid are in Russia right now too, or something like that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, man, you can't expect him to say something with a tyrant for their leader. And I hope that everything just gets canceled for Russians. They already canceled the F1 race. I like that. They did talk about Mazepin not even they're not going to even let him drive this year, supposedly. Now they were talking about, but full sports sanctions, monetary sanctions. This thing has to stop.
Yeah, the monetary. I mean, what I like about the sports sanctions is Russia historically has been one of those countries that they're very, very proud of, what they do at the Olympics and internationally in sports. Like, there's a very real, I think, value to that for them, in that this is, we're the best in the world at this, we're the best in the world at that. They had the doping scandal that was state sponsored. You had all kinds of stuff. So, it's just another thing. I'm half Ukrainian. My dad's side's Ukrainian, and that's where my family came over. So yeah, I'm all for it. Just sanction the heck out of them as much as you can. And not just the financial stuff. Like, it's the national pride things you can do, which sucks for the athletes. It really does. It's not necessarily, or it's not fair to them, but you have to do something. You have to do what you can. And for the governing bodies like the IIHF for hockey, I mean, they need to step up and do things like that. So I'm glad that it's starting, because it's disgusting and horrible, and it needs to end.
Yeah, and Gager, just FIFA did announce today they're suspending Russia from all international competitions.
Yeah, and the IIHF says Belarus and Russia are going to be out by tonight, right? Yeah. So, and then they say once things get sorted out and it stops, they'll start a process to put them back in. I mean, I think everybody's just kind of sort of reaching out to do what they can to put pressure on the Russian government to stop what they're doing right now. So, I mean, that's what sports can do, I guess.
An agent, Dan Milstein, this was reported by Gager today. He's reached out to the Players Association to provide additional security to the Russian NHL players, because I guess the threats and all that on social media and all that has already started for a handful of the Russian players. So it's another
situation.
It's not their fault, and so they shouldn't. Like, you want to say something. I think it's good to say something. Say something about it, but you don't need to attack those people. Like they're not, the athletes don't have a decision. They didn't make that decision, so leave them alone. Absolutely, go at the regime, go at the people in power that are making those decisions, but unnecessary to attack the players.
All right. Well said, Gager. Thanks for bringing that up, buddy. Obviously, a huge thing going on right now, and who knows? We'll see where things are sitting by Thursday when we get to another episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. It is brought to you by our friends at CoolBet. Sign up for an account today at coolbet.com. Enter the bonus code 2 guys, number 2 in the word guys, and you will get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. I got 4 questions for Keep It or Clip It to wrap up this Monday episode. Let's start here. Everybody wants to know, Mikko Koskinen should start on Tuesday night. Keep it or clip it?
Oh, yeah, keep it. He had I think I heard someone say that it was his best game in an Oilers uniform.
Might have been. It was up there.
It was up there, and you got to realize, like, in my opinion, those are just one of those types of games a goalie has, and that he steals the game for you. You can only do that maybe 4 or 5 times a year, right? Where you just have one of those games. But I really think, just like a DAR said, like he feels a little bit more comfortable with the responsibility he's given. And if I kind of look back to Mikko's starts with Jay Woodcroft as coach, I think there's a real sense of, I think I can be the number one guy here, or I'm just going to get an opportunity to become the number one guy. And I think it got to the point with Tippett, with Mike Smith. It didn't matter how Mikko played. And even when Mikko did play good or even great and be big part of a win, you would see Tippett go right back to Smith afterwards. So really establishing Mikko as just a backup. But now I think there's a little bit of more of a fire lit under him, and it's a level playing field to establish who's going to be the guy come playoff time. And I think that's great. I think you even see Mike Smith, although I thought he was struggling a little bit last game, I felt like, but he battled, and I got to say, he played well, like to keep that game where it was and do what he did. That was impressive, but that's the sign of a guy battling to keep his kind of number one status or try to get another start. So that's what these two need going forward.
I'll keep it too. And I think Rashad said it on your show, Dusty. Like, this guy's a good, like, I think what his words were, like, this guy's a good backup. And when you manage his days off and all that, like, he can be a really good goaltender for you, right? Like, when you're not overplaying him, I guess. And I think if he wins Tuesday, you can possibly play him Thursday too.
Winning, you're in, baby. That's all I gotta say.
Run like that, yeah. Yeah, you could just straight up say that. Woodcroft could just come out and say, if you win, you keep the net. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. He won't, but I think we might be able to view that if Koskinen wins on Tuesday and gets the net to wrap up the trip. Here we go. This guy's name is on that trade bait board that we kind of discussed last week, but I know some people like him. And I was talking about this, I think, with Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Like, when the Oilers went out and got Cam Talbot, he was that guy that everybody's like, oh, Cam Talbot's ready to start. Like, he's not going to get to start in New York because he's behind Lundqvist, but he's ready to start. And people are kind of saying the same things here. But Georgiev would be a long-term solution between the pipes for the Oilers. Keep it or clip it.
I'm going to clip it. It's going to cost too much, and Stuart Skinner.
Skinner's got better numbers than Georgiev has this year anyway, so.
Yeah.
He's sub-9. He's got a sub-9 save percentage right now.
Yeah, and the previous 2 years, 905, 910.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably lean towards what Cass, just because of what they're going to ask for in return. I'll say no as well. I'll clip it.
I'm going to clip it too, because there's two kind of question marks to me, and Skinner's going to be cheaper. So
yeah,
I'd rather see Skinner as a long-term solution than Georgiev. I think you can say it 9 different ways. All right, how about this one? This is an interesting one. Austin Matthews will win the Hart Trophy. Keep it or clip it. 4th in league in points, leads the league in goals right now. Draisaitl's right there with him, obviously. Does he win the Hart?
I'm going to keep it. He's going to get a ton of votes from where he plays, and like I said, they're dying to give the Hart Trophy to him. And you know what? Great, because McDavid, does he really need any more stuff? There's just one trophy I think he's interested in anyway. So, yeah, I give it to Matthews. I mean, he's a great player, but to compare the two is ridiculous because they're different players too. Matthews is an unbelievable goal scorer, but yeah, I mean, if he's that far ahead of Marner with points too, that's pretty impressive. And from where he started the season, like he didn't score at the beginning, right? But
yeah, it was very kind of slow to get going. He's been on a tear lately. Marner too, actually. They've both been playing very well. Marner did miss a few games too, and that's why he's a bit back. But
when you're scoring double digits, that's what happens.
Yeah, I guess when you put up 10. Hernan, what do you got?
I'll clip it. I still think it's gonna be one of the Oilers. One of these guys is gonna get. Remember October, guys, when these two Draisaitl and McDavid were just
there's a heater
unreal.
coming.
Yeah, I think there's another late season heater coming for both these guys. So I think they're gonna they're gonna create a gap between them, Huberdeau and Matthews.
I'm gonna clip it because I hate Toronto Maple Leafs.
Simple enough. At least you're not pretending. I like that, Cass. Honesty is nice in this situation. All right, final question, guys. Matt Kassian would look the best out of all of us with a Ted Lasso mustache. Keep it or clip it. Just the stash, no beard.
Keep it.
Get closer to the camera there, Cass. Let me see this duster. Well, that's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's very if you went like goatee a little bit there and just kept some, you're quite Yellowstone-ish, actually.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's 1883 all over it right there.
You know what? I just trimmed it the other day too because my wife was like, "I really hate when the hairs go past like your lips," and I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll trim it." So I trimmed it up a little bit. I got to clip it though. Because I would love to see Dusty with that, and I think if he actually did it, it would just be beautiful. Dusty with the duster.
Dusty with the duster. Yeah.
I think Dusty just wrote the name of the episode.
What's that?
I hate when the hair passes your lips.
I'd like to give her a go, but I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could pull it off. I think Cass or Gager's got it. Gager, because you still got the dark stash. I know you got the gray beard kind of going, but you got that dark stash that would still work too.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm fully two-tone here. It's bad.
Sharp look.
So just quickly, Vicky Perlini, who's very active on social media, Brandon Perlini's mom, she replied, let's wrap up the episode with this because people have been asking us about in the comments section and I hadn't been able to find it. Now I see it. Perlini's mom, this is totally like my mom out of like minor hockey, but Oilers on Twitter say Oilers roster move. Brandon Perlini has been placed on waivers. Perlini's mom replies to the Oilers and said, it's pretty darn bad when the player has to find out from his mom off Twitter. Don't you think? So I guess Perlini hadn't seen that he was placed on waivers. Oilers tweeted it out, and his mom told him that he'd been placed on waivers.
Oh,
yeah, that's not a good look.
Yeah, that stings a little bit, I think. That sucks.
That's
well.
Well,
yeah.
You know what? Now that I think about it, if my mom was telling me I was getting sent to the minors, yeah, it would be okay. Yeah, it'd be all right.
Take it a little bit better.
Yeah, I would take it better. Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. How it turns out. I mean, I still like him. Like, I like the fact that he shoots the puck. I thought maybe there'd be a chance for him to play a little bit with a bunch of these guys out, but maybe that's not the case. Or at least they got to clear him through waivers so they can move some things around roster perspective wise, and we'll see how it plays out there. Philadelphia, quickly, predictions. Philadelphia. Oilers win this one on Tuesday?
4-2 Oilers win. Call it.
4-2 Oilers win. Okay.
5-2 Oilers win.
I think it's a 4-3 shootout loss.
Jeez, Gager.
I'm going to bet all three of those exact score. I want to see if we can
Dark as your
nail it.
mustache.
We're going to bet it at CoolBet. That's right. CoolBet.com, presenting sponsor of Two Guys and a Goalie. That's going to do it for another episode 207. Now in the books for Two Guys and a Goalie. We'll be back with episode 208 on Thursday. Boys, enjoy that game on Tuesday, and we will chat with you on a game day Thursday. See you then. Talk to you later, boys.
Later, boys.